In the heart of Marshall, Minnesota, a tale of mystery and intrigue unfolds. Born on a cold winter's day in January 1989, Brandon Swanson was a young man with a promising future. He was a dedicated student at the Minnesota West Community and Technical College, studying wind turbines, a testament to his commitment to a greener, brighter future. On May 13, 2008, the academic year drew to a close, and Brandon, like his peers, celebrated the milestone. 2 parties, 2 dorms, and a night of merriment, yet Brandon was responsible. He drank, but with caution, knowing he had a journey home to undertake.
He said he was fine, that he was not injured, and, in fact, when we did find his vehicle, there was no damage to it. It was simply muddy from being on a gravel road, but no damage to the vehicle. As Brandon tried to explain to us where his location was, and he was extremely sure of himself. He felt confident in where he was at, and that we were the ones that were confused about, how to get to him. And as the conversation went on, as the minutes ticked by, it came to a point where as long as Brandon was on the phone, as long as he was talking, as long as we had contact, it was okay. We would be okay. But the minute that that call dropped, I just became sick. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was very, very bad, and just could hardly fathom. We didn't immediately hang up the phone. We called his name. We tried to, thinking that he still had the phone, that it was very near him, that he could pick it up. He'd hear our voice, and we called out to him several times, and we realized, he's not there. So we did. We called him back several times, thinking, he'll see the phone light up. Even if he didn't have it on ring, he would see his phone light up when the call came in. He'd find it. He'd answer the call, and it just didn't happen. Time and again, it just went unanswered.
As the clock struck midnight, Brandon bid his friends farewell, climbed into his Chevrolet Lumina, and embarked on what should have been a straightforward 30-mile drive back to Marshall. But fate had other plans. At 1:45 a.m., Brandon's journey took an unexpected turn. His car, now nestled in a roadside ditch, and Brandon, near blind in one eye due to a childhood injury, found himself lost and disoriented. He reached out to his parents, Brian and Annette, who immediately set out to find him. But the night was dark, and Brandon's exact location remained a mystery. His parents, guided by his voice over the phone, searched for him along Highway 68, but to no avail. The only clue: the distant lights of a town, possibly Lind, a small town southwest of Marshall. With hope in their hearts, Brian and Annette directed their son towards the town, planning to meet at a familiar spot, a popular bar and grills parking lot. As Brandon trekked through the fields, his parents on the other end of the line, a sudden scream pierced the silence. Then, nothing. Attempts to reconnect were futile. Brandon's phone remained unanswered, and the chilling realization that something was terribly wrong began to set in. Despite their desperate pleas, local law enforcement dismissed their concerns, suggesting that it was not unusual for a young man to stay out all night. In the face of adversity, Brandon's parents found themselves pleading with Lynn's chief of police for help. Their pleas were finally heard, and a search party was assembled. Hours later, the abandoned Chevy was found, just as Brandon had described, nestled in a ditch, but Brandon himself was nowhere to be found. The search intensified, with multiple teams, bloodhounds, and helicopters scouring the area around Yellow Medicine County, where Brandon's cell phone was traced. A glimmer of hope emerged when one of the dogs picked up a scent, leading the search party along a 3-mile trail towards an abandoned farm and then the Yellow Medicine River, but the trail ended there, abruptly, with no sign of Brandon. The theory that Brandon may have fallen into the river and drowned began to circulate. Despite thorough searches of the river, no trace of Brandon was ever found. As the days turned into weeks, the search was scaled back, and chances of finding Brandon alive dwindling with each passing moment. Yet, hope was not entirely lost. Brandon's parents, along with their community, kept their porch lights on, a beacon of hope in the dark, signaling their belief that Brandon would return. They continued to search the area along the Yellow Medicine River daily for the next month. By the fall of 2008, a large cross-country task force was organized to search the freshly harvested fields surrounding Highway 68. Cadaver dogs picked up a scent of human remains in a previously unsearched area, but no physical evidence was found. Theories began to circulate, some suggesting that Brandon may have accidentally been killed by farming equipment. By spring 2011, despite a massive search covering more than 122 square miles, not a single usable lead was found. It was as if Brandon had just vanished from the face of the earth. Theories abound, but evidence is scarce. Did Brandon drown that night? Did he run away from home? Or was he a victim of foul play? The sheriff believes the latter, citing Brandon's final terrified exclamation as a clue. Could someone have been lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike? Some suggest that Brandon fell prey to a serial killer, perhaps a long-haul trucker. Others speculate that he was abducted and held captive, possibly trafficked. In the absence of solid evidence, all possibilities must be considered, no matter how eccentric they may seem. The hope that Brandon is alive and might one day return is a beacon in the darkness of uncertainty. The alternative is too grim to contemplate. A promising young man, snatched away from the world. His parents left to grieve, haunted by the memory of his last moments. If you've enjoyed this content from a universe of mystery, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content.